Alright, Citizen Sleeper. Ever heard of it? I hadn't heard of it either until Xbox kept shoving it at me. And it kind of looks like it might be okay. Kind of like a life sim game. It's got a sci-fi setting, which we all love. So let's give it a shot and see what it's like. Ooh, we get to choose our operator. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Sounds just like me, doesn't it? Especially the way it's pronounced cerebral there. They have a perk, which is transfer intercept. Chance to gain cryo on interface actions. Not sure what any of those are. Here's our various skills we have. We don't have any engineer skills, but we get +1 to interface, -1 to endurance, and no changes to intuit or engage. We can be an operator, can be an extractor. Extractors work on resource extraction, obviously, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. Seems to me like I'm going to be... Alright, there's also machinist. A machinist repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. None of these people sound like me. Hardworking, attention to detail, self-sufficient, confident. None of those are me. So let's just do operator. This sounds more interesting. It looks like she's half machine or half machine something. Loading screen. Let's see what we got going on here. The first thing you become aware of on awaking is the disconnect, the delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. Where am I? Cryo is cryptocurrency, stored in air-walled sticks of memory known as chits. Don't have any data, and don't have any items. It is at its worst when it's waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Think of that body or forget that body. Let's think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, the sting of blood welling from a fresh wound, the friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach, until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard at your back and face, cramping your limbs. Apparently we're not in a nice place. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now there are thousands of them. Alright, what's the plan? You mostly remember that it wasn't a good plan, but then your options were limited, and once you got the itch digged out, by any means possible, it was either that plan or something much worse. It was at least simple: collapse the shaft, drift away in the chaos, slip into cargo processing, seal yourselves in the containers, and just hope the freighter left before you were missed. We're trying to escape somewhere? Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if, in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reach any destination. Let's try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left, surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You've been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from the rigor. Sound, too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect your senses. So loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light, white as the cold, softer and softer, until in a haze of dirty yellow, a figure appears. You are out. Alright, where are we? So we're on this machine. Somewhere. We can kind of scroll around, but I can't see anything else. Can't use any... If I scroll with the mouse, it moves... Right, the mouse moves up and down the ship. Or whatever we're on. So the only thing I can click on is Drago's Pragmatic Salvager. It's been a few hours since Drago's pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in the corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You're slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. A pragmatic and private salvager. You're surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where plasma arcs slice them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, Sleeper, you all thawed yet? Almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside-outer locks of my time. Or inside-outer locks of my time. They weren't so lucky. A man or a woman? I'm guessing by the beard. A woman. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eyes locking you with an unflinching stare. So there's the drone up there staring at us, unflinchingly. He's just standing there, menacingly. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he is just figuring out what to do with you. What happened to them? He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now, and you are just software. A rogue emulation, illegally possessing corporate property. So maybe I'm in a body that I stole, a robot body that I stole. Sorry, having a drink of LaCroix. Continue. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells, the promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. S&ARP wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them, and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away, towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye? The station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with, he trails off. There's an old freighter container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. Nod. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Drago stalks back into the wrecks, his drones already converging on a rustling hulk. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Tutorial Introduction. Welcome to Erland's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container located to rest and end the cycle now. Need a continue. Alright, so where is this container? This is Erland's Eye. Okay, I see it's kind of circular, I'm guessing. I can view my character up here. There's me. Don't I look handsome? These are all my different skills. I'm guessing. We can click on them. But we can't do anything with them yet. We don't have any upgrade points to spend. Alright. Let's go down here. This is the only thing we can click on. Empty container. You're home. For now. End cycle. All cycles need to end. Rest and prepare for the next one. You wake curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. This message is readable, but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? What does matter? Escape, getting answers, or building a life? I like getting answers. It all matters. The past is impossible to escape if it remains a blur. What S and ARP did to you cannot be forgotten. You need a way of understanding all this before you can move on. Where are you? What is this place? What happened to the others? The questions outnumber the answers. You want to change that, but you'll have to learn to survive first. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachet smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. Perhaps it's some tea? As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes. Or polygonal shapes. Like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you finish drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best as you can, and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Alright, so here's what we can do. Tutorial, condition, action dice, and energy. Ooh, we got some dice. Condition. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. Spoilers. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but you can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. Number 2 is action dice. So that top bar there, right there, where it says flickering, that's my condition, okay? Action dice, number 2. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. So there is some randomization to the game. I don't know what these actions are. I mean, is this just the total number of points, or does each one of these correspond to a specific action? Perform actions. Yes, alright, 3. Energy. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating. But first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy bar depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will be starving. When starving energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will also deplete double rate per cycle. Uh-oh. I wonder if you can die. Alright, so here we are. So here's our dice. I'm currently flickering. I can leave. What happens if I just leave? Dragos is stood in the corridor when you close up the container. He is still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize it is implanted. The drone sits on his shoulder. Its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Okay, I guess, since I'm still flickering. The drone chirps. Good to hear. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Sure. All right then, he nods. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old holes down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor. And obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Chits? These, he pulls out a handful of small metal bars. Air-walled cryo, isolated from the market, is what we use for trade out here. He stuffs them back into a pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can, and sleepers, well... He trails off. But the things being the way that they are for me at the yard, he pauses, I need the help. Why? Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along behind him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Alright, so what do these dice let me do? Alright, can I move anywhere still? Still can't go. Oh, here we go. So there's this. I don't have a dice for that. I mean, does this just tell me how many points I have? Alright, so there's where I were. There's Drago's shipyard, and I'm guessing this should probably be the first place we go. Actions 1 of 2. Actions are the primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, click and drag your chosen action dice to the slot. Repeatable actions, such as hull dissection. Actions reward you with clock progress, energy conditions, or items depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcome. Positive, the action goes better than expected. Neutral, the action succeeds. Negative, the action fails. Because these are the examples of actions, hull dissection or manual salvage. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. So all yellow is 100% chance positive. Looks like 50% positive, 50% neutral, 25% positive, 25% negative, 50% chance neutral. So the more yellow the dice is, the better, essentially. But if you've got 6, that's 100% positive. Alright. 1 and 2 is either going to be neutral or bad. So the higher the number on the dice, the better. So a yellow 6 is critical. 5 is just, could either be good or neutral. Alright, so I got it. 3 and 4. Alright, so 1 and 2 are always going to be negative or neutral. 3 and 4 are 50% chance of neutral, 25% chance positive and negative. 5 and 6 are what you want. At least nothing bad can happen with 5 or 6. Alright. Type. Either critical or repeatable actions can only be performed once. And there's safety, risk, or danger. Safe, no loss, condition, energy, or cryo. Risky, negative outcomes mean cryo or energy loss. Danger, negative outcomes mean condition lost. Neutral outcome can mean cryo or energy loss. So we want to stay away from danger unless we have very safe chances. Skill. The skill that this action requires. Either engineer, interface, endure, intuit, or engage. Modifier, either -1 or 0 or +1 or +2. This is that the action dice massage and improves its value. Some actions require a +1 to perform. Alright. So let's see what we can do here. More LaCroix. Alright, so 3 and 4. Alright, so we got some 3s and 4s, and we got a 1 and a 2. 1 and 2 means it's either going to be always negative or always neutral. So safe means... Can we go back and look at that again? No. Alright, so we're still in the tutorial. So, Dragos is tied up in something ugly, and if he misses a payment or two, things can get nasty. Back in business, every salvager knows they're always just one lucky haul away from their next payday. So what do these do? So if I put a dice in here, I can't put dice in here, can I? Can I put a dice in here? No. Does it go in here or here? So this is safe. Manual salvage. It's going to subtract a 1 from the dice. So that's going to make it a 3. So let's see what happens with manual salvage. How do I put it in there? There we go. Alright, so I got 25% chance of positive, 50% chance of neutral, 25% chance of negative. It'd be the same thing for this one if I do... can I do both at the same time? No. So that goes back up there. We'll put that there. Start action. Working. Positive outcome. Alright, tutorial clocks. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions to fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one collecting Drago's debt, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. Alright, so do we just keep going here or do we do this? So I can do this one again to advance this. So I don't know if I can do anything to this. Let's try this one again. Well, it's going to subtract 1 from it, so it's going to make it a 2. Let's see what else we can do at this station, see if there's anything else. Drives and navigation. In Citizen Sleeper, you will unlock drives as you discover more about yourself in the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives depending on which path you wish to take. You can track drives, and any tracked drive will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue your goal. Access your drive menu via the arrow button at the top left of the screen. You're now free to explore Erland's Eye and make life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food to keep your energy up and find a way to recover condition. Fill clocks to progress stories. Find new opportunities. Remember to incycle your home when you're out of dice. Use the mouse wheel or WS to scroll along the station. Rotate the view with A and D. Good luck. Alright. Here's our drive. These are our quests. Survive and repay Dragos. Need access to corporate pharmaceuticals, otherwise this escape attempt will come to a rapid end. So there's home, there's Dragos, there's the dock, and it's got some sort of thing on it. Rotunda, another rotunda, bright market, and a low-end gate. Let's go to the market and see what happens here. Ask for directions. Why wander around when there are hundreds of people that live and work within the bright market? All you need is courage to approach them. That's danger, and I don't have any good dice for that. It doesn't have any... Explore the market. The smell, sounds, buzzing activity of the bright market make it a dizzying place to wander, but an enticing one too. Let's try that one. Got a 75% chance of something not bad happening. But we want something bad to happen every once in a while. Neutral outcome. +1 local knowledge. Alright, the bright market is the busiest part of the lower room where you can find anything and everything here. I mean, is there anything I can do here? I guess once I've filled this up, then maybe I'll have some more options there. Oh, here's the slum doctor. Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating on this place, but now that you're here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hat block, they've all made the long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few. Without a supply of stabilizer, this body, your body, will... dead, right? You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Let's look inside. I don't want to look at that enforcer. You lean against the doorframe and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of stacks of sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a far doorway, screened with plastic sheeting, beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. Wake your turn, he growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway and you catch a distant voice. Send the next one in, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the bright market's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above. And for a moment, you are transfixed by the motion. Come sit, calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. Sabine, a doctor in the bright market. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak, they blink, and then quickly regain their composure. Please sit. They gesture to the bed, and then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns, a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. Remain still, please. Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. How long have you been on the station? They ask, the scanner still to their eye. They nod. It's good you came to me. They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything. They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. Your body is dying. They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. SNARP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose to prevent bodies like this, yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping. They built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNARP remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? Yes. Good. That may help. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says, and you're unsure if they mean for the cold touch or the metal or everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. You focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and SNARP has no reason to release stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. I know little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, pulling them to say something. Anything. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help. They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Toshiro outside. You nod. He works for my benefactor, Yarigan. They are influential in the low end. They give me the space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. The Yarigan has connections, smugglers from the Starward Belt, mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance. Sabine sits down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it. Why help me? Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave, Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. All right, so we're right at 30 minutes. So I'm going to cut off this episode. So far, I mean, it's a lot of reading. It's a very text-based adventure game, but I mean, there's a graphical interface, obviously. Some randomization through the dice actions and stuff like that. Got me pretty interested in the story so far. So I'll see you in the next episode, and we'll see how far it goes. Thanks for watching.